Hello, everyone. Welcome to this another episode. And today we will be discussing studying in France. And I have Awais, whom I met in Islamabad during our French classes. So it's really good to have him here. Hi, Awais. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Hi Faizan, Walaikum Salam. I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm good as well. So it's been almost 9 months since both of us are in Europe, and you are still in France.
Yeah,
So how's your experience going? And can you also let the viewers know about your university and also about your degree?
yeah, okay. I'm currently doing my MSc in Data Analytics and Artificial Intelligence from EDHEC Business School in near Lille in France, which is near the border at Belgium. So I came here in August 2023, and my master started in September 2023. And the university is one of the top ranked business schools in France. It's in the top five business schools in France, and as per the QS World Rankings, this current program is in the top 30 data analytics or business analytics programs. And also, as per the Financial Times ranking, EDHEC ranks in the top 10 business schools in the European Business Schools ranking. So it's a very well-rounded and accredited university. And overall, the experience is great. There are multiple aspects to consider: academics, student life, sports, extracurricular activities, French culture, the French language experience, and travel around Europe. So overall, there's a lot to share, but the journey has been amazing so far, which we will discuss going forward.
That sounds really nice. So I would also like to know your decision to choose France over some other countries like USA, Canada, Australia, and UK. So what was your decision to choose France? If you can share some of your key points which while considering France.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very important question, and it's important to clarify over here that the decision with regards to each person really also depends upon their personal goals and ambitions and scenarios. So for me, I took multiple lenses to look at my decision. I think university ranking, program ranking, and finances, visa processing. These were a few of the lenses which I took. So I think with regards to the quality of education and the cost of education and the ability to easily get access to that country in a short process, a short visa process, and most importantly, the availability of finances, because I have taken a Prodigy Finance loan. So I had to take multiple aspects into consideration, especially with if loans are available for specific universities. So I looked at the top universities, top programs, countries where the visa process is easily available. People are going and you can know about the process. Looking at that, I looked at the schools which had Prodigy Finance disbursements made to them, because Prodigy Finance is essentially a international student loan lender. So the number of disbursements it has made to a school is a sign that international students, once graduating from that school, are doing well. So looking at all those aspects and the availability of loans, I think it all narrowed down to Europe, and most importantly, the cost of education, because I had to finance it. The cost of education for me in US, Canada, especially the visa complexities, all of those things made me firstly move towards Europe, which was also not that far from Pakistan. And then within Europe, I looked at top universities which had Prodigy Finance on them, and most importantly, I had a different background. I had a bachelor's in finance. I worked in finance and business analytics, so I was not really sure how flexible universities are. But universities in France are very flexible. They take people from various backgrounds, and they have different kind of curriculum in place to bring them up to pace. So the availability of Prodigy Finance loans, the program flexibility, visa process, cost of living, and all of these boiled up, and I reached my decision to choose France.
Okay, that's a really nice decision, and you did your all working on that. But I would also like to ask a bit more about Prodigy loans, like
Yeah,
for people who don't know. Can you
yeah,
share how that works? And also, can you also share, and on average, how much French public universities cost, since you might have done research on that as well,
yeah,
and how much the private ones? I know it varies from field and cities and everything, but on
yeah,
average, if someone is looking at the budget for yearly fees or semester fees, how much would it be?
yeah. So, firstly, on your question of Prodigy Finance, so Prodigy Finance, as I said, is an international organization which lends student loans to international students. The most amazing thing about it is that it is a non-collateral loan. You need to open your laptop, you need to just arrange a few documents, scan them, and upload them at the end of in the middle of the process, and you can get a non-collateralized loan, which and then you can use the letter for your visa application. But it's important to say that these loans are very high interest, but that is the cost of not being able to provide collateral. But the idea is that you just go onto their website and you fill in some basic questions which they have a recommendation, or you can say a classification engine in place, which then tells you that yes, you are eligible for a loan for this university for this much amount, and this is our quotation. And then you can take the process from there. It's all online. Have extremely helpful support system, contact staff through email. They can even call you from abroad numbers and talk to you, and they can make this process very simple. And in end to end, in around 2 to 3 months, you can get a document which you can show for your visa application. And more details on that as well, because not many people know about that. And with regards to your question on public and private universities, I have an idea that some public universities are cost very much, very less in France. Like I don't exactly know the universities, but I think on average it's something around maybe 5,000 per semester, or something like this, or overall like between 5 to 10,000 euros per year. But I can give you more insight on the private universities. Like EDHEC is a private business school, so the cost of an MSc, a 1 year MSc, is around 25,000 euros on average. And so, but there are a lot of scholarship opportunities as well if you apply early, and that's a discussion we can also get into. But overall, that's the average cost of education. Now, that is something definitely which I compared with other educational hotspots like US and Canada, and the difference was quite stark. So for me, it was kind of like a no-brainer, because the quality of education and access to the European market was available here as well, with the same quality but with much lower price. So I think, yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's really insightful. Moving forward, can you share a bit more about the universities which people can choose? For example, you are doing in Lille, which is your university is near Lille. So,
Yeah.
what other options can you share? Some big universities in France which people can check out? And if someone is interested, do they have to apply from the website itself, or is there any portal from which they can check out?
Yeah, definitely. So I think one should always consider the quality of the MSc they're going into. So definitely a good starting point is to look at the QS World Rankings by filtering on France. So if you look at the top 5 to 10 universities for management and business related education, you can definitely see HSC Paris, ESSEC, EDHEC Business School, Schema, Neoma, Reims Business School, Grenoble, and I hope I'm not missing any big name, but I think these are one of the top names. And Kedge Business School is also a very big name. So definitely look at all these universities. If you are considering Prodigy, look at the number of disbursements Prodigy discloses this information according to the MSc for each university. That's a very good indicator. Look at the rankings, alumni, where are they posted, what the location is, and so on. So I think definitely. And so in Pakistan, from this year, the EEF process has been put in place, which is that you can apply to universities through the EEF process, which you make your account on the Études en France portal for the which is managed by the French Embassy and the Cultural Department, Campus France. So you need to make an account on that. They have their own process that is already available online. But the important thing is that there are many universities, because that process is for all kinds of or those universities which are available on the portal. So, but there are also universities like EDHEC which do not require you to apply through EEF. So this is available on the website, and this can definitely be confirmed from the international recruitment managers, because some universities clearly require you to apply from EEF. They don't take direct applications. EDHEC has a direct application portal. ESSEC has, HEC has. So all these countries, all these universities, so you can go onto their websites and see their process. And if they require direct applications, if they allow that, that is also a good option, because if you don't want to go through the process of getting evaluated for 3-4, you just have 1 or 2 preferences, I think this is also an option you can consider. So go onto their website, see their application process, and I think that would be a very good start.
Yeah, we were earlier talking about the expenses of the universities. I would also like to know some of the expenses students needs to expend themselves on a monthly basis. So, for example, if a student is going for Lille, let's take that as an example. So, how much money that person should keep in mind for 1 month, which would include the groceries, traveling as in local travel, food, and rent. So what would you recommend that person to keep a budget for that?
Yeah, that's a very important question. So basically, if you look at the requirements of the embassy, it's around 615 euros per month for living expenses. So actually, it's somewhere around that, but it really depends. Like I live in Roubaix, which is a small town near to Lille. So over here, near the university, your monthly rent in like normal sized rooms can range from around 300 to around 450 or even 500, depending on the type. I live in an on-campus university residence where I currently am. It's a normal sized cot, and the rent I pay is around 525 euros per month. So this is that. And for the transportation, you can just keep estimate in mind that for 1 hour, if you don't buy a card, monthly card or anything, if you just buy transportation tickets as you go, then it's around 1 hour, 2 euros for a 1 hour trip all over the transportation network, because it's managed by one transportation provider. But I think for people under 26, you have around 40 to 60 euros for a transportation monthly card, and for people above 26, it's somewhere around 80-90. So I have not taken that because I am above 26, but I have not taken that because I don't have to travel so much. But so like you need to keep around 50 on average for transport, 50 to around 50. And for groceries, I think if you don't go conservative, I think around 150 on average, 150 you should definitely keep for groceries. You can do more if you want to buy more stuff, but 150 the average. So I think something between 600 to 750 is a reasonable average to mention about the living. And most importantly, students who apply for CAF as they live in France, they will definitely get subject to approvals, they will get the CAF assistance, which is the rental assistance. It does help, but the idea is that since they have processing times, you have to wait for a few months until you get the CAF allowance. So in the start, you will not get it, and you'll not feel the effect of it immediately, but you will get it, which is a very big advantage for France, because CAF is something which I've not seen and I've not heard about in other European countries. So overall, this is the living expenses situation.
All right. And yes, I also got my CAF after my first 3 months. So it wasn't as much as I was expecting, but yes, it's around 90 euros per month, which is compiled a great amount for 4 months. So
Yeah,
offers a great opportunities, and I have also talked about the food distribution services for students in France. That is also a great help, which is done by some organizations. So if you're coming in France, you can
exactly.
save on that as well. For me, the Olivia card was, I think, 32 euros per month, but maybe it varies from different cities to cities. Maybe in Paris, it's a bit more. So it
Yeah,
depends, but generally it's you're right around 40 if we keep all other Uber. Sometimes you have to get Bolt or something. So if we keep a
yeah,
budget, 40 is like reasonable one. Moreover, I would also like to know a bit more about language because I couldn't
yeah,
go further because my studies are mostly in English and I communicate in English with most people when I was in France and now I'm outside France. But for you, you are there a permanent student and you continued the classes as well. So can you
yeah.
share how difficult is it to learn French and how much time a person requires to get fluent in French?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, as I'm somebody who's still early on in the journey, I'll just share what I know from my experiences as I've given a lot of time to analyze how one should learn this language. So, I think I started learning it around 1 year ago online through Alliance Française in Pakistan. I still take classes with them online. So, I think, like any new language, every language has its challenges, and it's best to start early on. French history, culture, language has a lot of richness in it, and it's definitely a very important language. It can open professional doors for you in France, in Belgium, in Luxembourg, in Switzerland, to some extent to the French-speaking regions, and even in Canada. So it's something. It's, I think, one of the top three uh, considerations one should look at while coming to France or these regions in Europe, because it's extremely important with regards to the job market. It's very important, and people don't realize this. They start late, and then it becomes too challenging. And by the time they apply for internships or jobs, it's not up to the level, because honestly, it's like on average, it's a 700 to 1000 hour journey to get to fluency. These are the estimates of authentic and official organizations of the world. Now, 700 hours means that on average you study 2 hours of French each day for a year. Now, 700 is not for everybody. Let's take 1000 to be conservative. So that's 3 hours per day for around 1 year. Now, that's extremely hard to study 3 hours, because you need to realize that over the course of every new 3 hours, you'll study something new, like tenses. There'll be a new concept. So it's not that you're studying the same thing for 3 hours the whole year. So you really need to understand the complexity of the language. So I think for students like me, I think uh, 3 years would be the average, where I would get somewhere around B2, I would say, and to fluency, it would be somewhere around 4 years. If you're very ambitious and hardworking, fluency can be reached with, I think, around 2.5 years, but it's very important to revise what you are learning in the classes. That is extremely critical, and really expose yourself to the reality of learning French as early as possible. If you're targeting France, it's amazing. Language can open many doors for you. It can help you get into internships, organizations, develop contacts, but start learning early and really invest time into understanding the challenges of learning a new language, the timeline of learning a new language, how it coincides with your goals, and just get into it at as early as possible and revise. Revise and keep training your mind, and listen to French the way it is spoken by the natives again and again and again. It's just about repetitions, but this repetition takes a few years. So this is a quick summary about French, but definitely it's a very important consideration.
All right. Okay. There was another question which I usually get a lot on, which people ask me is the bank deposit. So while applying for the visa,
Yeah.
uh, the students are asked to show their bank statements and they are asked to share a certain amount of money. So what is the right amount a person should keep in their statements while applying for the visa?
Okay. Yeah, that's an important question. So let's look at the two most important sources, official sources. So one, when you apply for the visa application on the French government website, you get the application form and you get a receipt outputted which you have to print. So at the end of the receipt, you have the documents required. So if you look at the funds section, it just mentions 615 euros for the desired stay. And it's very important if you look into the details, it says adequate, regular, and reliable income. So, how I see it is that firstly, you need to show that you have funds for 615 euros for the duration of your studies. Now, some people argue that because the visa they are giving you is for 1 year, you have to show for 1 year. My suggestion is it's always better to be safe. So, try to cover the whole duration of your studies through this by showing this amount. So, try and cover this as much as you can, and or even go a little bit above. So 615 euros multiplied by the number of months you are going to study in France, regardless if it's more than 1 year. Then you have the
500 euros.
Yeah, approximately. Next, you have the tuition fee. Now, there's no clear mention of if you have to show that or not, but logically, it makes sense that you need to show the concerning authority that you have the ability to pay your fees. So definitely, like in my case, my fees had to be paid by December 23. So I had to definitely show that tuition fee and the living expense amount. So now we come how people should show it. So if you have your own bank statements maintained in your name for the past 6 months and they are in your name, you don't need to show any affidavit or anything. Just give your statement and just write it in the cover letter that you are showing your statements. If somebody, your relative is sponsoring you, focus on the affidavit of support. It's mentioned both on the receipt documents and on the Campus France documents that you need to have the standard signed and stamped bank statement, and you need to give an original affidavit from that person who's providing you that statement and committing that yes, I will be committing this amount for the purpose of studies of this person. So affidavit of support, and remember that on the day of interview you have to give your original affidavit and original statements, and if it helps, give your original bank maintenance letter as well. Now don't forget the adequate, reliable, and regular income. Now for regular income, you need to show evidences like salary slips of the person who's sponsoring you or business income, because that shows it's regular. And reliable, it comes from that it's clean white income through the tax returns. So keep all of these aspects into mind. And so like these are just the bare minimum. I also showed more stuff, like my mother sponsored me as well. In addition to the Prodigy Finance loan, I wanted to be covered through that. So I did all this process as well, and it went well for me.
That's very insightful, and there were a few things which I didn't even know, so it's good to know as well. So now going forward, let's talk a bit about the future prospect in France. So a lot of people also ask this question: what is the long-term prospects in France if you want to get the permit for like residency? So what's the process? So I asked this question earlier from someone else as well, and he said like you have to spend 5 years and then you can apply for the, I think, permanent residence. So what's your take on this? How hard it is for international students to get it? Is the process getting tougher with the time, with the recent times, or is it still possible for students?
I can definitely I can share insights on this. I think it's something people should consider and align with their goals before coming here or before making the plan. Definitely, France is a very big economy. There are a lot of jobs over here. It's a hotspot for many immigrants from around the world. But definitely, that compels the government to take some measures to whatever the measures they have to take. So it's getting a bit harder because there are some laws which may be passed, because even our university was advising us that there may be some laws like with regards to the language proficiency. You need to be able to apply for a job search visa, for example. So let's not go too ahead Like let's not go 5 years ahead. Let's stay around 1 to 2 years ahead. So you come for your MSc, and so what's the very next step you're going to have to take to stay in France? You either need to find employment, or you need to have a job seeker visa. So job seeker visa is of two types. There is the APS, and there is another visa. I don't know the name of that. There are slight differences, like APS is renewable, the other one is not renewable, and the APS is free of cost. It's for some nationalities, the other one is available for everybody, but it depends upon your application to the prefecture. So there are these options available. So it's important to understand the things one must undertake to first get at this stage. So the best case scenario that you get a very good employment. For that, it's very important that you learn French and learn it as soon as possible to maximize your potential of entering the job market here, getting a good role, because this French will also help you get these relevant permits. Because if these laws get, I don't know the exact laws, but if they get passed, you will have to pass a certain exam level to be able to be eligible for these permits. Like for the job seeker permit in Germany, I think if I read correctly, you need to have B1 level German to be eligible for that job seeker visa. So French is definitely going to be a priority, but yes, many international students come here, they have apply for job seekers, they get employment. Another very good way to enter the market is through your end of year internship. Now for the end of year internship, again, if you know French, or if you are in the process of learning French, that leads a good impression. It shows, because I've personally come across a few companies who appreciated the fact that the person is learning French, and in a few years, because there are some international companies who have English as the working language, but they would appreciate if the cultural work language, French, if somebody knows that or if they're learning it. So definitely prioritize this. It is no doubt tough, but it's the same as in any European European country. Just align your priorities, compare with your next best alternatives. Like for me, I really enjoyed learning French. I enjoy learning it, and I want to learn it. If for some people it's difficult, they don't want to do that, then consider your options, alternatives, but be ambitious, be hardworking. Definitely there is a lot to achieve. So focus on the immediate milestones: internship, full-time employment, or job seeker visa. And for all of these, language is important, networking is important, and then getting work in France is a whole other discussion. But I have a relatively technical degree, so for me the language requirements are a bit different and the scenario is a bit different, but it really depends upon your degree. So definitely look at your degree as well. And definitely everywhere things have a flow. Sometimes they get easy, sometimes they get difficult, but just plan accordingly and give your best.
Okay, and one more related question to this. So if, for example, someone have the bank statement and everything, like it's perfectly fine and they get the admission as well. So if the files are fine, is it highly likely to get the visa, or there is still the acceptance rates are a bit on the mid-level, or you think French visa is easy to get if your own documents are clear and good to go?
Yeah, I think if you follow the guidelines and the documents of the official authorities, I think there is a high chance to get a visa anywhere in the world. But definitely, if you look at recent times, how Campus France has been putting in the effort to tell students about new universities, opportunities in France, definitely there is attraction to get Pakistani students inside France. And if you look at the French leadership's visit to India recently, they also mentioned about bringing in Indian students. So definitely the country wants students to come in. All you have to do is follow the requirements that they have laid out for you. If everything is well, everything is as per the required documents, which is simpler, which is easier said than done, I think there is a high chance, no doubt, because the cultural department in the French Embassy Cultural Department also has a very streamlined procedure. They have an interview in which they evaluate your motivation, all your purpose-related documents, and then you go on to submit your visa documents. So I think I found the process to be easier and smoother than other countries, and information was very easily available. Most importantly, the wait times, the appointment booking, everything was very smooth as compared to other countries. So I think it's if you follow all the documents, and it's not just about the documents, it's about your motivation, your the timing in your specific professional and academic journey, which has made you come to the point at which you're applying for a specific degree. All that needs to, I think, match, and it's a combination of everything. But I don't have any statistics with me, but looking at the Facebook group we have in the past 1 or 2 years, I've seen that the positivity rate is high. So definitely, I think it's worth a shot. Yeah.
All right, that sounds really insightful, and thank you, As, for your time. And it was great to see you once again. And I hope many people will benefit from all this information. And let's hope that students who are looking to study in France, especially from Pakistan, can get the opportunities and get what they are looking for. So, in the end, if you like to share something for all those who are looking for French universities, that will be great.
Yeah, sure. So I would say that start early and put in all your effort. There is a lot of opportunity waiting for you over here. It's an amazing country and a very strong economy. There are a lot of cultural, professional, social opportunities available over here, and academic opportunities. Most importantly, the amount of things you learn, the subject matter, the professors, the research, everything is very good. So definitely look into France, into French universities, apply early, benefit from the scholarships, and do your diligent research and prepare early on, which again involves work on your French. It will honestly help you a lot. And to get started on the journey early on is very crucial. So, and always be on the lookout for people who've been through the experience. Ask as many questions as you have. Even in response to this video, share all your concerns that you have. If there are any specific topics you would like me and Faizan specifically to make a video on and share our insights, we'd be happy to share more targeted topics for you, and keep asking. It's an iterative learning process, and yeah, give your best, and yeah, it work out good.
Thank you so much, Awais, and all the best for your studies as well. And let's hope we also get to meet soon in the next semester.
Yeah.
So all the best and have a nice.
Yeah, thank you, Faizan, and thank you for this opportunity. It's good to see you after a while as well. And let's try and I really appreciate you helping the people, especially Pakistanis out there, with this information. It's highly appreciable, and let's contribute to this effort more. And best of luck with your education as well, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you, and see you all, everyone. And if you have more questions, do share and comment as well. So that's all for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you. Bye.